Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual guests or creators and do not necessarily represent the views of their employers, business partners, affiliates, or advertisers. Any opinions, advice, or statements made on this podcast are not intended to be taken as fact or professional advice. Please consult a qualified professional before making any decisions based on the content of this podcast.
What have you been tapped into? Yeah, we went on a whole.
Oh man. I even feel like I had the Madlanga Commission on here. But like there's a couple of things, right? So the one thing is a video I saw, I think this is circulated a lot on social media, but there's a guy who was speaking about like bad people hurting you does not like it's not as bad as good people hurting you.
How do you navigate your way through heartbreak?
The people who break our hearts really badly are not horrible people. If they were just the horrible people, we'd be fine. The thing you really have to worry about is heartbreak by nice people. The people who are really kind to us for a long time. They get under our skin. They understand our pains. They're truly sweet. The ones who come and go and, blow hot and cold for a few minutes, we'll get over them. You know that old expression, grief is the price we pay for love. Well, there'll be a lot of grief if there was a lot of love. So it's kindness that undoes us. We lay ourselves bare to somebody, and then when they go, we are no one anymore because we have to recreate ourselves. We have to go back through every experience and unpick it. And it is a sort of rebirth. Most of us will probably experience heartbreak, proper heartbreak, only a few times in our lives. When we do, we need to, pull up the white flag and go, I'm not going to be well here for a while. In the Jewish tradition, when somebody dies, you're allowed to mourn for a year. And during that year, it's acknowledged that you will not be entirely yourself. You're going to be heavily unbalanced. And the key thing is, everybody knows it. We need a sort of similar version of this because it is also a death when we lose someone who really matters to us.
Have you ever experienced heartbreak?
I have. And as I say, one wouldn't wish it upon one's worst enemy. It's horrendous because it is a destruction of oneself.
Because for some reason, from a bad person, you kind of already anticipate that this person's probably going to screw me over.
Okay.
But from people that are good people, like supposedly good people, or maybe they're just good people actually in real life. Like these are good people, but they're just not able to kind of show up for you, or they failed you, or they disappointed you. That hurts even more because you can tell that this is a good person, but they're not good to me. And it got me thinking that and this is like idealistic, but I need good people to stay good people and bad people to stay bad.
Yeah.
And as I grow older, I realize like the gray between black and white is like it's gray.
It's gray, yeah.
It's gray. Like the gray exists, right? And people are both black and white. But it's like, I just want I want the type of stability where I know that like this is a white person and this is a black person. In that this is a bad person, this is a good person. Or this is a good person, this is a bad person.
Yeah, I hate how that sounds.
Shucks.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that. I just mean
Yeah, I hear you.
bad, good, black, white. And I guess that sounds wrong, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like good morals, bad morals. Because I feel like in as much as like I understand like this is real life and the grays and it's so bad, it's like there has to be one person in your life that's white, bro. That's oh my God.
Keep going.
There has to be a person that's like good or bad. Like people that or these people are bad for my life. Because sometimes the good people in your life make the bad people in your life look good. And I don't like that when that happens. I don't like it when people make me agree with people that I don't generally agree with. But you know what I mean? Like, so I've placed you in my good people category. I'm like, Mesh is a good person. Gift is a terrible person. He should never exist. And then Mesh does some gift shit that I'm like,
Why, bro? Yeah.
and then Gift does some measure that I'm like,
Wow. Yeah.
and that's kind of the
I was like, I
gray.
wasn't prepared to like you like that.
Yeah,
bitch.
no, I didn't want to. I didn't want to like you like that. But now you're forcing me to like this person like that because you are putting me in a position where I have to like this person like that. You know. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking about, and it's probably fueled by the Cardi and Nicki beef because they've been going at each other like the whole week, bro. They've been involving kids, like it's a whole like, you know, like it's a serious back and forth where people are really fighting, and I'm like I came up in the 2010s. Nicki is my girl, you know, and if ever there was a situation where Nicki and Cardi were going, I'd be like, I'm on Nicki's side, like you know what I mean. But Nicki girl, like she's, you know, like she's wilding. And I'm like, you are making, and like I watched Cardi's interview because she was doing a press tour for her album. And I was listening to a lot of Cardi's interviews, bruh. She sounds so mature, like she's making so much sense. Like she's speaking so much sense that I'm like, yeah. And then I'm looking at Nicki. Nicki's busy fighting. It's telling the whole world that like she's the best. She's number one. She's like, and I'm like, you have surpassed that period of your life where you kind of need to be arguing with other female rappers that are upcoming. Like Nicki hasn't been in, Cardi hasn't been in this game for as long as you have been in the game. That actually tells you that people accept you here in this game. Like they like you.
Yeah.
So push forward with that. Why are we now finding you arguing with the Cardi? Because you're technically giving Cardi the cloud that you could have redirected to yourself. And even that you're even arguing on things that don't even make sense. Like you're arguing about your kids. And even that is like how we fight as women, bro. Like it's so, like why are we involving our kids and like what our kids are able to do and not able? They are babies.
Yeah.
Kids. They're
Yeah,
kids.
Nicki. You know, I think sometimes celebrities downplay the extent to which they contain their legacy, man. Like it with Nicki, I think about that a lot because a lot of what I hear is, you know, Nicki's legacy will always be Nicki's legacy. But Nicki is really, really, really causing a lot of damage to her legacy, man. You know, because Jet Ass goes without say that her run with YMCMB was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, but she's become this not even controversial. It's beyond that. She's become such a toxic figure, you know?
Yeah. Because people are like, controversy, people can take controversy,
Yeah.
People can take
and I
you
think
being...
that's the thing. I feel like she's pushing it beyond controversy, and now it's getting to a point where it could really, really, really have people looking at her in that light and people forgetting how great of a catalog she has.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, that like, I feel like you could be channeling so much of your energy in cultivating the legacy that you have. Like the girlies that in the 2010s were like, I'm a Babs. Like I am like, you know, cultivate that, build that. Why are you like now fighting with like kids? And it's like, Rinabatu, as we are, like, can't we? Because, and something that Cardi brought up in the argument, she was like, you're comparing yourself to a me who was in high school when you were coming up. You should be comparing yourself to a Drake. Those are your peers. Those are the people that you came up with. But your numbers are not close to that. Mara, you are picking on me. And it's like valid. It's like, I'm like, you're not valid. Because why is she not worried about like building a legacy for herself that like is in the same people that she came up with? Like she should be fighting for a revenue to be up there. But Rihanna, all of those people should be fighting for her legacy to be up there as well. But now it's just like, but yeah, that's what I've been tapped into. It's just, and the Tyla thing, like Tyla being like, sorry, not sorry, ne? Sorry, not sorry, ne? It's like, did you see that?
Yeah.
Wait, like,
I just heard about it. I think who covered it? But I didn't see it. Someone spoke about it. Can't remember where, but I did hear about
Yeah,
it.
so
And the context. And
Yeah, Tiwa Savage goes out on the breakfast show, apologizes on behalf of Tyla because of the colored conversation. And Tyla goes on Global Citizen and she says, sorry, not sorry. Like, why? Which I get. Like, the conversation has never been about Tyla apologizing. The conversation has always been about people understanding where she's coming from and where she is, you know?
No, I feel like Americans expected an apology. And I think, I mean, this is something people consistently talk about, like how monolithic Americans think their existence is. You know, it's like the whole world is America, bro. You know? Because even the controversy around just Tyler being quote unquote colored, right? They have a completely different interpretation of it, right? Why can't they accept the fact that that's completely interpreted differently elsewhere? You know, because it's simply just
Weird.
that.
And when they had the parade and everything, they were expecting everybody else in the world, the Zulu parade, they were expecting all the Zulu people to understand that, like, oh no, this is a New Orleans thing. Like, it's not connected to Zulu people. And it's like, you you are
Like,
calling,
why don't you call it something else?
why don't you call it something? So I'm trying to touch on the fact that they were expecting us to understand that, oh, it's totally different, right? But they cannot understand when Tyler says, no, where I come from, which is a real thing, by the way, which truly exists. There's a group of people in South Africa that are referred to as colored people. Like, she's not making it up. She's not saying, I refer to myself as a colored person out of nowhere and I accept it for myself. She's literally saying, like, there's a group where I come from. My whole life, I grew up being
Colored.
called this, you know? So it's like, and then it's almost like when the world says these things to Americans, they are like, everybody's against us. Everybody hates us. Everybody doesn't want us. And it's like, yo, we're wasting so much time just debating like diaspora, like conversations instead of trying to find like a bridge. And it seems as though you can you can build a bridge to anywhere else where Black people exist except America, because for some reason it has to be built in the way that they want it. Like, if it's not built in the way that they prefer it to be built, then they're not gonna accept the bridge. Because what is a Tyler? A Tyler is a bridge. It's like we are exporting her into the world and being like, here's our here's our person that we're sharing with the world, and she's representing South Africa, or she's representing where she comes from. And then they're like, no, but we don't like this. It doesn't come in the way that we expect it to come. So take it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when Americans come into Africa or everywhere else, everybody accepts their accent, the way they view life, the way they do things. Like, we've been fed that so much but maybe that's the thing. That we've been fed American culture so much that, like, we understand American culture. And when Americans do certain things, we understand it. We're like, oh, okay, this is what is. But they haven't been fed our culture back to them.
Yeah.
So when it's introduced to them, they're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I don't think it hasn't been fed. I just think they are not receptive of it. That's why I'm saying there exists like this monolithic group. I don't think they don't have access, you know? And it's not Americans in their entirety, but it's most Americans, you know? It's wild when you think of it. It's really, really wild when you think of it. Something that I also was thinking about was South Africa losing our national soccer team losing 3 points because we fielded a player that wasn't supposed to be on the pitch. And yeah, man, like, I think I was just thinking about how much bad luck we have in terms of having to always get to the end of things for us to get it. Like we always have it hard. Like I remember those times when you would hope for another team to lose and then the other
But
team to draw.
we're back there, bruh.
We're back there, and we've been doing so well. Yeah, that hurt me. And now we're second. We're second to Benin, and I hope that we still qualify.
We win our next 2 games.
Yeah.
That's all we just need to focus on.
Yeah.
We're playing Zim
Yeah.
and Benin next.
Yeah.
So if we win those 2 games, sharp.
Yeah. Most importantly, the Benin game.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But it's like, the whole conversation, because I saw people are blaming the player. People are like, yeah, but why didn't they also say like he got a red card from the previous game? And then people are like, the administration, like the person who registers players, like why didn't they note that this is happening? Like people are calling for people's heads to roll, like in this situation. And I kind of understand, bro.
Yeah, there's certain mistakes that shouldn't happen.
Like I understand because this is like a very like, it's such a silly mistake that like somebody should have checked. Somebody should have done what needed to be done. We're so like the way South Africa has like a proper league that exists in South Africa, right? We shouldn't be having such problems. Like you would understand if anywhere else, because some of the leagues are not properly ran. There isn't like, like there isn't proper facilitator structures that exist. But guys, come on, like, but yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll ask the question of the week this
Cool.
week because it is, my week. I have a question, right? But it's a very like, forward thinking. I think in how I like thought about how I will answer it. I hope that's because sometimes I ask you a question and then you take a different view on it, which is fine. But I'm hoping you are taking the same view as me. Is more reflective on what you're hoping for the future.
Okay.
And maybe currently, it's like, what do you have faith in right now?
God, bro. I have faith in God. Like for real. I have faith in God. And yeah. We played this game at youth recently where, when people bring a bunch of things, a book, an empty cup.
Like random objects.
Random objects. We played that random object game where it's like take a random object and make it about God and link it to your life and
Yeah.
And I took a locker,
Okay.
and I took a locker because I was like, I obviously have faith in God, but I was like testing my faith in that I was thinking about what I'm capable of, the level at which I believe I'm able to compete, right? And then feeling like I'm not executing things and competing at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And then reflecting on it by asking God, like, have I fallen off, bro? Or am I still capable of competing at that level of like my 21-year-old, 22-year-old self, right? I was just thinking, I've even been at great levels even prior to that, but I was just speaking of that era. Like 2018, 2019 MASH, bro. Like, and how I explained it was we had a youth revival earlier this year, I think. And part of the youth revival, and that was for like the younger youth. We have an older youth group and a younger youth group. So we were the facilitators of it, right? And for the younger youth group, the main reason for the revival was they needed to be revived. Like the elders at the church were saying, the youth, abachaba active, nothing is happening. We need a revival, right? To say, youth, dude, like, be more active, like, come to life. And part of it is playing games, engaging with them, but also having discussions of like, what's gone wrong? How can we help you? What do we need to do? You know? And we had an amazing race, right?
Okay.
With different booths, and they were like different teams, and the booth that I was leading, they basically were playing a game where, okay, maybe not a game, but it was sort of this thing where we give them hints at describing, relaying an entire verse.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So we go there and we like Philippians 4:13,
Okay.
right? And we try our best to have them say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So it's like, for some people, it's like, and it's a group. So you have, and you're judging them based on different aspects, right? So you'll have a group that quickly comes, and then they're lucky enough that there's one person that knows Philippians 4:13. So it's like they end up spending a minute at our
Just
booth,
pushing. Yeah.
you know, or a few seconds where they just get there and you're like, Philippians 4:13. And they're like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then they get the point and they move on, right? But you could have a completely different group that struggles through it, but they get it, but then they get more points because they were collaborative and all of that. And then you get another group that you just need to actually just spoon feed them, and they're also nonchalant about it and all of that. I mean, I'm completely deviating, but I'm saying all of that to say, like, it made me. I described that. I was like, this lock is descriptive of where I'm at right now, because I felt locked into this sort of place where I've like pigeonholed myself, or I haven't pigeonholed myself, but I wanted to understand, am I still capable of competing at the highest level, right? And understanding that the youth at that time were pigeonholed, right? They were locked in, and then there had to be a revival to open up. And my booth being, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, was like, also like, bro, like, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And I've gotten the revelation, bro. Like you can, you can have faith in me because you're just as great, if not better.
Question.
Yeah.
So when you say like 2018, 2019 mesh,
Yeah.
are you saying 2018, 2019 mesh from like a spiritual perspective? Are you saying from like personal
question.
achievements perspective?
This was specifically personal achievements perspective, right? And I was thinking about it like, that's why I said, can I compete? Because I hadn't done anything external for a long time. That's how I was saying, like, I hadn't done anything competitive. You know, I wanted to, like, test.
Get yourself up. Let's go.
Yeah, test my competitive prowess, and yeah, hopefully in due course we can talk about it. But like, something nice happened, and I was like, Clark it. I was like, oh yeah, and it goes back to having faith in God, because even in me doing it, I was like, it was not about the clout. It was not about like the public acclaim. It was about challenging myself and saying, yo, can you actually, are you that imaginative? Are you that inventive still? Are you that, are you, do you still have it in
do
you?
you still have it?
Yeah.
I think you touched on very important things, that there's like two things that I'm thinking about, right? Like, firstly, it's like on a spiritual perspective, I think we rarely judge ourselves from a spiritual perspective on how we are faring. And I think a lot of the times when you sit down and you do that, a lot of clarity comes with it. So when you lock into kind of the spiritual side of yourself, when you spend time with God, meditating, writing, reading the Bible, or whatever you read, it's like that time is never wasted. So if you're thinking about like, am I still 2018, 2019 mesh, right? And you're like, oh, 2018, 2019 mesh from a spiritual perspective believed like nothing was impossible.
The world is
Like,
my oyster.
like 2018, 2019 mesh was like, I'll do anything. Like I'm capable of doing anything, right? If you sit with that and you compare it, okay, what is 2025 mesh thinking, right? Then you can clearly see there's like a gap. What was 2018, 2019 mesh doing in his spiritual life to make it a little bit better, to make him believe he could fly? Like what was he feeding himself? And what was his diet? What, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Because like I do, like you were saying, from a personal perspective, personal achievements, and being like, oh, younger Maureen was like fire, bro. Like I want to be younger Maureen. But younger Maureen had so much faith, bro. Like younger Maureen was like I remember when I got baptized, like I probably spent like a month or so, maybe less. I would just randomly go out and preach to people. That's younger Maureen. Like that's what I was doing. Like literally going in the streets by myself. Nobody said to me, go.
You're
Nobody,
evangelizing for real.
for real. Right? And so the things that happened there, not from like, oh, you do this for God and God does this for you. It was like the things I was doing cultivated my faith so much that I believed nothing, like you couldn't touch me. Not because you, just from the things that you do for your spiritual life, those things kind of cultivate that for you. So those things kind of go together now. Now that I'm older, I kind of think about it in that sense, like those things go together.
All those little things matter.
So when I take stock of like, oh, what have I achieved? What have I done? What have I not done? It's also like from both perspectives. Like, what am I spending enough time reading, meditating, praying, fasting, all that stuff? But on the other side, I think there's an element of, guys, and I saw something on TikTok this week when somebody was saying like, COVID happened and we just continued with life. You know, like, and ever since then, certain things don't feel the same anymore. You know, like so many people died during that period. Like so many things happened, so much heartbreak, so many opportunities that people had lined up for the year that they've never gotten an opportunity to get those opportunities back again because COVID happened. And it's sort of, you're just supposed to move from there. Like we've just moved on from the tragedy that COVID was and the damage it did to our dreams, to our plans, to, you know, all these ideas that we wanted to execute. And I think there's something to think about there in that, like, and I'm bringing it up because you said 2018, 2019, you know, and like that period, everybody was sort of in their like groove, and then something happened and we just kind of paused and then co-piloted the entire thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So even when you take stock, I kind of feel like, I'm not saying be like, oh no, COVID happened, so like that's what it is. But I'm being like, something did actually happen that kind of affected motion for a lot of people and for a lot of companies, for a lot of establishments that could have probably pushed you or anybody that had plans that year, or that could have affected opportunities that could have came your way because of the motion that you had done in the past couple of years. But because of the thing that happened, a lot of people's life got stuck. And then with that awareness, you can then be like, okay, now things have opened up. What kind of motion am I trying to push or pedal? to get me to the point where I have the opportunities that I had before this thing happened, or even better opportunities that I had before this thing happened. Because I think, like, as a collective, we haven't done that work. And I'm not calling everybody to now sit down and cry one day and just be like in tears. But I'm saying it's something to think about when you reevaluate your life or think about what's going on in your life, to be like, there was a shift that happened, and the shift affects the current motion that I'm currently in.
Thanks.
But yeah, that's us for this week. It's also
Peace out for the peace out.